She had never felt grass beneath her paws. She was born wild. Somewhere deep in the forests of Laos, a mother bear was raising her cub the way bears have for thousands of years, teaching her to forage, to climb, to swim. And then, one day, the cub was gone. Stolen from the wild, taken from her mother, sold. She was just a few weeks old when she arrived at the farm, a foreign-owned facility that called itself a zoo, but was something else entirely, something darker. She was placed inside a metal cage barely big enough to turn around in, inside a dim concrete shed with 26 other bears. And there she would stay. Not for days, not for weeks, for years. If you have ever wondered what it feels like to spend the first years of your life in a metal box, unable to run, unable to climb, unable to feel the earth beneath your feet, this story is for you. Because on July 2nd, 2026, a moon bear named Jing Lee walked out into the sunlight for the very first time. And the world she stepped into was nothing like anything she had ever known. If stories like this move you, hit subscribe right now. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we bring you the rescues that remind us why this work matters. Subscribe and never miss one.
She was curious. She would approach the front of her den and sniff at the keeper's hands through the mesh. She would watch the other bears in nearby dens with wide, dark eyes. But she was also cautious, the kind of cautious that comes from spending your entire life learning that the world outside a cage is not a safe place. The keepers were patient. And then came July 2nd. 10 of the 27 bears, the ones who had shown the least aggression toward each other during quarantine and the most readiness to explore, were chosen to enter a large forested enclosure for the first time. Among them was Jing Lee. Named after the Laotian law enforcement officer whose courage and persistence helped make the rescue possible, Jing Lee stepped out of the quarantine den and into the morning light. She stopped. She had never felt sunlight on her face before, not real sunlight, not open-air, unfiltered, warm-on-your-fur sunlight. She had spent every day of her life in a dim concrete shed, and now she was standing in a forested clearing, with trees above her, soil beneath her, and a pool of cool water just yards away. For a moment, she was perfectly still. And then she began to explore. Things that might seem simple or basic to most of us are completely new to them, Cartherish said, watching from the edge of the enclosure as the bears fanned out across the clearing. They had not stood on solid natural ground, climbed a tree, swum in a pool, or even eaten hard vegetables since they were stolen from the wild as cubs. One adventurous bear made immediately for the climbing platform, hauling himself up with surprising strength. Others sniffed at plants, at the bark of trees, at the strange springy texture of grass beneath their paws. Jing Lee moved slowly at first, testing each step, her atrophied muscles working hard to carry her weight on uneven earth. She stopped at a patch of grass and lowered her nose to it. She had never smelled anything like it before, that green, living smell of something growing in sunlight. She stood there for a long moment, just breathing it in. And then she found the pool. She had never swum before, never felt cool water close around her body. She approached the edge slowly, looked down at the water, and saw something she had never seen before either, her own reflection, a round, dark face staring at her from the surface. She lowered one paw to the water's edge, and then the other, and she went in. If you are still watching this, subscribe. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with stories like this one. Hit that button now so you never miss what comes next. The road ahead for all 27 bears is long. Because of the trauma they experienced, because they were taken from the wild during the years when young bears learn how to be bears, they will never be able to return to the wild. The sanctuary will be their home for life, and that life could last decades. Caring for a single rescued bear costs over $150,000 across its lifetime. With 27 bears, soon to be more, as the Free the Bears team has already initiated additional rescues across the region, the financial weight is immense. More than $200,000 was raised to fund the rescue logistics and begin construction on new forest enclosures. But the remaining 17 bears are still in quarantine, waiting for those enclosures to be completed. The team works around the clock. Volunteers travel from across the world to help, and the work does not stop.
The bears are eating real food now. Vegetables with crunch and texture and resistance. Things their teeth have never had to work against. They are learning how to regulate their own water intake after years of being given water just once a day. They are meeting other bears, learning the rhythms of bear society, figuring out who they are in a world that was stolen from them before they had the chance to know it. Jing Lee is learning all of it at once. She is estimated to be between 1 and 3 years old. She has her whole life ahead of her, and for the first time, that life has room in it. Room to roam, to climb, to swim, to rest in the sun on ground that is soft and alive beneath her paws. The illegal bile farm that held her has been shut down. Laotian authorities who helped make the rescue possible are continuing to pursue those responsible, and the new enclosures being built at Luang Prabang will serve not just these 27 bears, but future rescues, because the team does not intend to stop. There is so much more work to do. An estimated 20,000 bears remain on bile farms across China, Vietnam, Laos, and Myanmar. The farm where Jing Lee was held had enclosure capacity for 200 bears, a sign that whoever operated it had plans to expand, not wind down. The demand for bear bile in traditional medicine markets has not disappeared, and the trade will not end on its own. But on July 2nd, 2026, in a clearing in the mountains of northern Laos, a bear who had never once felt the sun on her face lifted her nose toward the sky, and she breathed. She felt grass beneath her paws for the first time in her life. She tasted cool water. She stood under open sky in a forest full of sounds and smells that her instincts somehow still remembered, even after years inside a metal cage. Whatever comes next for the moon bears of Luang Prabang, whatever battles still lie ahead for the thousands still caged across Southeast Asia, this moment happened. Jing Lee is free. And it was enough. Thank you for watching. If this story stayed with you, please subscribe and share it. We post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and every video is a rescue that deserves to be seen. Free the Bears is still working to complete the enclosures for the remaining 17 bears in quarantine. A link to support their work is in the description. Jing Lee is safe, but there are 20,000 more still waiting. We will be back Wednesday. Until then, thank you.